So word on the street is you have a private jet. So what's the favorite place you've been on your jet? And two, when it's not taking care of you and flying you around, do you have it on the lease market making you some money on the side?
Well, twofold. One, I'd say the favorite times that I've used the plane have been for my pleasure with my family. I think it allowed me the freedom to take my son to San Antonio to see the NCAA championship for Final Four weekend, and to see the championship game and be in a business meeting that Monday morning and then get there and see the game, or to take him to see the San Antonio Spurs and Detroit Pistons in Game 7. And to do those kinds of things. Or go to the Super Bowl in Jacksonville on a Sunday and come back and work, Monday morning. So it gives me the freedom to do that and spend more time with my family. And then when I'm traveling on business, it gives me the freedom to be able to get back and to see them quicker and to be a part of my children's and my family's life. When I got my largest plane, a Gulfstream, I did put that into the charter market so that it can make some money for us, but it doesn't really make any money. It's one of those indulgences that, you buy more time, and the idea is that I have a philosophy about business and life. With more money, I cannot buy more time. Yeah. But with more time, I can make more money, and I can also enjoy my life.
Also, you have a beautiful wife, Katrina, and 2 wonderful kids. And so I was curious, talking on the life side again, how did you get this woman to fall in love with you? Where did you go on your first date? And what type of things did you talk about on your first date?
Well, we met in Washington, D.C. one summer evening in July. She was jaywalking in Georgetown, and I was on my way to meet some friends for a drink, and had my top down, and I saw these people staring, and I saw her jaywalking. So
you didn't try to write her a ticket, did you?
No, but I tried to track her down very quickly. So she went into a hair salon where I actually got my hair cut. I called, they weren't answering, and so I pulled over, and by the time I parked, she was already walking. So I introduced myself, and then the next day, our first date, I took her to New York City to dinner at Le Cirque. And we went to a club afterwards called Mars, which was on the
I actually remember Mars, yeah.
And then to see Phantom of the Opera the following day, and so it was that trip where we had a chance to really get to know each other and know what we wanted in life, and we talked about everything. We talked about life, what our goals were in life, what our passions were, and what we would live for and what we would die for, and where we wanted to be in life and what we wanted out of life. And so we had a lot in common, and we both had a passion for life, and so now we've known each other. That was 22 years ago.
Wow.
22 years ago, 2 weeks from now.
Wow. And as I mentioned earlier, you have 2 wonderful kids from this amazing first date. Yeah. And so I want to ask you, being a father myself as well, how do you keep your kids grounded? I mean, you have an 18-year-old, you own properties and hotels. I mean, do you have your 18-year-old son showing up at hotels with his date saying, let me get a free steak and lobster dinner? Like, how do you keep them grounded with everything going on around?
So he wants to do it himself and not ride on my coattails, and I admire and respect that. He's smart enough, though, that he's going to take advantage of the opportunities that come from being my son and having access to information and people, but he wants to stand on his own 2 feet. Yeah. And a good example of that was I told him if he got into a top college, and he decided to go to a top college, an Ivy League college, that I would buy him the car of his choice when he got to be 18. And so he got into Columbia in December, and he turned 18 a few months later in April. And I told him to pick the car he wanted, and he decided he wanted a Porsche Carrera Cabriolet, but he got a used one. He got a used one that was about 7 years old, and picked it. We went and looked at various ones, and he picked the one he wanted. And I asked him, "Why won't you buy a new one?" And I kept saying, "Buy a new one, buy a new one." And he told me that he didn't want to be driving around in a car that looked like his dad bought it for him. And when he got a new Porsche, he wanted to be the one to buy it. Wow. I teach my kids, I want to expose them. I want them to be their own person and have their own dreams. And their dream doesn't have to be my dream.
I think a lot of people miss that. I think a lot of parents try to put their dreams off on their children. So it's great to hear when someone is full supporter of their kids' dreams. And at the same time, letting them understand, what dad does and how to be successful. So I applaud you for that.
Well, thank you.
So let me ask you, so when you're hanging out, do you hang out with other entrepreneurs, other business people, politicians? When you're just hanging about, chilling, kicking it around, what type of individuals you hang out with?
It's interesting. I tend, over the years, I've always tried to I've had friends that just, where we happen to get along with each other. And so it's rare that I have a good friend that's in the development business. It's a competitive business, and so we're all competitive with each other, and everybody's got
pie, and that's about it.
And so my friends tend to be from all walks of life. I've got a good friend who's an entertainer, Chris Tucker, who's an actor and comedian, and we get along very well because we enjoy each other's company. We like to do different things, similar things. We like sports and so forth. So but there's no agenda.
So we talked a little bit about the jet earlier. So I wanted to ask you, would you go up in Richard Branson's space jet? You heard he's building a jet to go up in space privately. Is that something you would do?
Absolutely. In fact, I've talked to Katrina about that and said, if there was one thing I could do, I would like to orbit the Earth. I would like to look out and see the Earth in orbit. So that would be a phenomenal thing to do.
So we're almost about to wrap up. I just want to take you into our speed round.
Okay.
6 quick questions. You can, as I answer them, you can tell me what comes to mind. Number 1, your favorite restaurant?
Cipriani.
Book you're reading right now?
Titan. It's the biography of John D. Rockefeller. I'm reading it for the second time.
Your favorite vacation destination?
I'd say Colorado.
Skiing?
Skiing.
Skiing?
That's a Aspen or Telluride.
Okay. Right here in the States. All right, this one might be a little difficult. Money or power?
Well, they're synonymous.
Okay. Well, do you think you can have power and no money, and some people have money and no power?
True. Yes. So I would like to have both.
Both.
Right.
Excellent answer.
And I think I've tried to do that by I've been I can one of the things is about power is that you can't accumulate power for yourself. It's power to effectuate change for a broader audience. And so I think I'm different from a lot of developers and business people. My interest in politics does not specifically correlate with my business. Like there is no business interest for me to have supported President Obama. In fact, I'll pay more in taxes if he has his way, and and so it'll cost me money. But it's a bigger picture. So I've tried to look at the power that I've had and the power and access that I have to utilize it to effectuate change and create opportunities for those who don't have them.
Would you rather be a king or a kingmaker?
Well, I'd say I'd rather be both.
Both.
There's a time in life for both.
Yes.
Now I like being a king. I like being a kingmaker, and one day I may want to be king.
Yeah. Last question for you: what was the absolute best day of your life?
Hard question, but from a business perspective, I would say that the best day of my life is the day I signed the deal for my first office building, and that was in Washington D.C. and that was in March 27th, 1987.
Well, it definitely sounds like you had an amazing life. I look forward to watching everything you do over the next few years. I want to thank you guys for joining us, and I also want to thank New York Life for sponsoring this. And catch me next time on A Little Bit of Business, A Little Bit of Life with Kyle Donovan. Thank you again, Mr. Peebles.
Thank you.